So my name is Josiah Shaver, and I'm standing at Oregon State University, where I graduated from a degree in geology last spring. Today, although I'm not going to talk about geology, I'm going to talk about two things that you have probably never realized could intersect. Number one, climate change. Number two, Christian music. This is going to be really interesting, and this could be really fun. Stay tuned. First, I want to talk about the science, climate change. If you haven't heard, it's pretty intimidating. 97% of the world's leading scientists say that climate change is not only happening and affecting our world in very dramatic ways, but it is also human-caused. We are polluting our air, the air we breathe, with things called greenhouse gases. And it's not good. What we need to do to fix it is we need to have a renewable energy revolution. This would be huge. It would take a lot of cooperation and a lot of innovation in ways that we have not accepted so far as a society. But we need to do that. That is what we need to do to save the world from the worst impacts of climate change. See, there's a point when the world warms enough, even if it's just a few degrees, where suddenly very scary things start to happen. At some point, snap. The rate at which the ice in our poles melts starts going so fast that we can't stop it, and most of it melts just like that. Now, if all that ice melts, other things start to happen. Sea level rise. Because where's that water going to go? It's going to go right into the ocean, and sea level's going to go up and up and up. Now I could go on, but the main point I think you understand. We need to do things, and we need to do them quick. The experts say that if we want to avoid those very alarming impacts of climate change, we need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 7.5% every single year. Every single year we need to accomplish that goal. Now this is really intimidating for a lot of people, and it's going to require a significant feat by society. Now some people are giving up, honestly. There's a thing called climate change depression. You see this probably in a lot of the young kids that have been parading in the streets. Some of those kids are saying this very sad thing, that they don't want to have kids themselves because they think there will not be a future for their kids. This is alarming. This is serious. You maybe heard of the COP in Madrid, COP 25, where they tried to come together, the nations tried to come together and come up with some standards, some goals that they can agree on in how they're going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and fight climate change. It did not go very well. They came away largely empty-handed. Like I said, people are starting to lose hope. But hope, Christians, hope is something that we will never run out of. Jesus is our hope. Our future is heaven with God forever. That is our future, and that will remain the same no matter if the world burns tomorrow. We're still saved and we're still going to heaven. So we have a hope that is unending, and we have inspiration that is unending. That means that we could save the world for fun. We could save the world for fun, not because we have to, but because we want to. But because Jesus loves people. And if climate change is impacting our neighbors in such dramatic ways, if people are dying because of climate change, which they are, then we should do something about it to save those other people so that we can be a witness to them, so we could show the love of Jesus to those people through our actions. If climate change is the greatest threat that humanity has ever seen, Christians can be that greatest inspiration that humanity has ever seen. to fight climate change. I want to go back to Genesis 2. Adam's first job, he was commissioned to garden the garden, to take care of the garden. He was first a gardener. He was a farmer. He tended the fruit trees as well. He was a landscape architect. And he was also a scientist. His second task was to name the animals. Now, think for me about what scientists do. Scientists study things, the earth, the animals, things around them. They analyze it, they categorize it, and they give it names. They give it technical names so they can distinguish it. That is exactly what Adam did in Genesis 2. So Adam was a first scientist, fun fact. But let's continue. We can show the love of Jesus to those around us by loving them in how we treat the climate. If we're polluting the climate and we know it's having a severe impact on the health and the livelihood of those around us, what does that tell the world about how much we love them? Okay, here's where this can get interesting. I'm not the only Christian ringing this alarm bell, but we need more. But as a scientist, there is only a certain audience that I will ever reach, and there is another audience that I will probably never be able to reach. But as Christian music artists, if you're one of those, you have a platform and an ability that almost nobody else has, and you can use that platform to create change in society. Music has a special place in our brains and in our hearts. Music goes straight to our emotions. It taps into our souls, it taps into our memories, and it taps into our inspiration. Music can motivate people in ways that nothing else can. And I mentioned memory. There was a study done on Alzheimer's patients where they studied childhood memories and songs, and they found, believe it or not, they found that an Alzheimer's patient could forget nearly everything else. But if they hear a tune that they knew from their childhood, they will probably still remember that tune. It'll trigger memory. So music has an incredible place and can be used to shift society and change minds in a way that almost nothing else can. I want to go back to climate change for just a few minutes. Justice. Justice. Climate change is a justice issue. So here's the thing. You and me, if you're watching this video, you probably have a fair amount of money. If climate change is affecting your area, which it is, whether you know about it or not, you're probably going to be largely unaffected. If the temperature goes up a little bit, you'll probably just maybe buy an AC unit. If the sea level rises a little bit, you'll probably move away from the ocean if it really gets dramatic. If there's a big storm, you might still be affected, but not nearly as somebody in a third world country. What about those people in third world countries? What about the people in your own community that don't have the money to buy an AC unit? That if there's a drought and things become more expensive, they might not have the money to pay for that extra stuff. This is reality, and this is affecting people all around the world. And that is a justice issue. Does God care about justice? You tell me. God cares about justice. So let's get back to what we can do. Throughout history, the champions of the Christian faith have been accountable to God for not only what they do say, but also what they choose knowingly to not say. This means that if we know what to do about climate change, and if we know what it's doing to our neighbors and brothers and sisters around the world, and we do nothing, we are accountable for doing nothing. Okay, but we can do something, and we will. This is one thing we can do. Climate change and Christian music. Okay, here it is. In the next year, in 2020, I would like to see way more songs released about climate change, environmental stewardship, and the environment from a Christian perspective. This is radical, and this hasn't really ever been done before, which means it's a platform and an avenue and a niche that a few innovators can fill and excel at and become probably fairly famous. But don't do it for the fame. Do it for God and for your neighbors. But here's what I want. This is my goal, and you can help me achieve this. During 2020, by the end of the year, I would like to see on the Christian music top 40 list 2 songs in the top 40 about climate change and environmental stewardship. Now, it doesn't have to have those exact keywords, but it has to have those concepts and motivate people to do something about climate change. You artists know what I'm talking about, and you know how you can manipulate concepts and words to achieve a certain outcome. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Even if you are not a huge artist, you can make a difference in your own community, with your friends, with your family, with your neighbors. But for those that are a little bit more ambitious, I want 2 songs on the top 40. Is that ambitious? Yeah, that is very ambitious. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Here's the thing. If we want to spur society on at the rate that we need to change and shift and innovate and collaborate, if we are going to reach that momentum and save the world, we have to start innovating at ridiculous rates, at rates that other people are gonna look at and see and think, that's crazy, that's too fast, we can't do it. People aren't gonna go along with it. But they have to, and we will. Because if we're gonna save the world, that's what we have to do. So let's go, 2 in the top 40, 2020. TobyMac, you've inspired me for most of my life. You've been a leader, a thought leader, and a music innovator in Christian music since you were pretty young. Can you do it again? Can you do something that largely no one else is doing? Newsboys, I know you guys care about those in third world countries because I've seen you work and help them. Can you help them in this way? Daigle, does this sound like a cause that you could get behind? Would this be worthy of your talent? Hillsong, you guys have such a large platform. Can you use it for something as noble and as worthy and as challenging as this? I believe you can. And to all you others, I believe you can. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. Are there going to be a few people that kind of hate what you do? Yeah, probably. That's kind of normal for Christians though, right? We can do it. Not only can we do it, we can have fun doing it. Yes, I believe that we can have fun saving the world. Would you rather, save the world like it's drudgery? Or, if there's something like this, like music and saving the world, well, that's going to be a lot funner. So here's the thing. Let's save the world and have fun doing it. Are you with me? So here's what I need you guys to do. Talk about climate change. Write about climate change. Advocate about climate change. Innovate about climate change. And for you artists with an ambition and an imagination and a will to change the world and help people around you, here's what I want you to do. Sing to me about climate change. Sing to me about climate change. That's all I have for today. If you agree with my message, you know what to do. Let's do it. Godspeed, and may you make a difference and glorify Jesus in your community. Thank you.